You want to quit your job and you're worried about your finances. Totally, I can relate with you. I recently quit my full-time high-paying job without a backup plan, and this is how I was able to financially prepare to quit or take a 1-year sabbatical away from work. Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. I share information on finance, entrepreneurship, and lifestyle. Please consider subscribing below. I took 10 active steps to help me prepare financially before quitting my job. I will be sharing those steps with you, and at the end of this video, I will share tips and advice for anyone looking to quit their job. So the idea of actually quitting my job started last year. I slowly started to prepare for it, but I became more aggressive with my savings this year. The first thing I did was to actually review my monthly budget to see if there is a wiggle room here and there and cut out unnecessary expenses. I was able to reduce my variable expenses by 80% without compromising on my lifestyle. So for example, on a monthly basis, I get myself gifts, which was about $300 on my budget. I cut that down to $100. Then also I had like $400 or $300 every month for my groceries and eating out. I cut that by half as well. So now I have to make sure to always cook at home or eat home cooked meal. No more unnecessary eating out. If I need to eat out, it will probably be just once a month. This year my rent doubled. I used to have a roommate, but now I live by myself and my rent went by 2x the amount that I was spending last year. So I knew I had to match up my emergency savings for 6 months to cover for the extra cost. So I made sure to complete my savings goal to reach my 6 months emergency funds. And I highly recommend anyone out there to always have an emergency funds, because life can be unpredictable and anything can happen at any point in time. So you want to always make sure that you have your emergency savings. Next, I saved up additional 6 months of monthly living expenses on top of my emergency funds. I love traveling, and what I do with my travel budget is to plan them from the beginning of the year. So at the start or the first day of the year, I kind of have a mental picture of the number of places or countries I want to travel to. Then I calculate an estimate of how much it will cost me to travel to those places. Based on the estimated cost that I have, I will divide this bi-weekly to see how much I need to save from my bi-weekly paycheck. So what I did from the beginning of this year was to already start to save my travel budget and calculate those months that I know that I might not be working. So now, even though I'm not making money, I can still afford to travel because I have budget for this from the beginning of the year. I plan to do a 1-year review of my fun employment life after 1 year. So at that point in time, I will decide if I need to go back to workforce or if I need to get a backup job or a second job or something. Whatever the case may be, I will be doing that after 1 year. So just in case I need to go back to workforce, I know finding a decent good job takes about 3 to 6 months. So I've also planned for a 3-month buffer in savings for just in case I need to find a job. I hope I never have to go back to workforce, but if the need ever arises, then I have this funds for 3 months that will carry me through till I find a decent job. Also, since I no longer have a job, I had to pause my savings and my investment goals, but I made sure to contribute as much as I can while I was still making money. So something like my RRSP, I made sure to max that out. My travel savings, I made sure to complete that. Then my taxes as well, I make sure to set aside some funds for it, because when it's tax season, I don't want to be scrambling here and there for funds to pay off my tax. That I'm not working a 9 to 5 does not also mean that I'm not making money. I still plan to continue to take on side hustles, my freelancing gigs, and other things that would make me money, like of course content creation, and whatever income I make from there, I will put them towards my savings and my investment. But I know that those incomes are usually not consistent, so I'm not relying on them. But any income I make from brand deals, affiliate link, YouTube, and all of this extra income, I will just save and invest them. I also made sure to put my money to work for me by saving it in a high interest savings account and in GICs. So my GIC for the next 1 year is the funds that I know that I might not need, and I made sure it's a cashable GIC. Then my high interest savings account is also earning me 4%, which I think is really decent in this economy. So that way I can earn extra interest instead of leaving my funds idle. Honestly, in my situation, I felt having 12 to 15 months of savings would give me peace of mind. This might be different for somebody else, but I live in a city, like in a big city, Toronto, and I know the cost of living here can be crazy. God forbid my landlord asks me to move out tomorrow. The cost of rent is almost 30% more than what I currently pay, so it will cost me a lot more, and I had to make sure to cover for unexpected expenses that could come up, which is why saving 12 to 15 months of my monthly living expenses gave me peace without compromising on the things that are most important to me. Just to add to that, I had to stay for additional 3 months than I had originally planned to stay on the job, just to make extra money and reach my savings goal. So if you are planning to quit your job and you need to stay a bit longer, don't hesitate to do so. I also watched the videos from other people that quit their job to pursue their hobby, to see how they are doing so far, if they had any regrets, and to learn from their experience. So one of the creators I watched was Bukola, and it was from her that I learned that it's very good for you to save extra funds or buffer just in case you have to go through the job search phase. And I really picked on that lesson. So if this is something that you want to apply in your own situation as well, I definitely recommend. So now, even though I'm hoping for the best with my fun employment life, I've also made sure to prepare for the worst case scenario, which is going back to workforce. I acknowledge that it's a privilege to be able to even have all of these savings, to even say you have a job that you want to quit in the first place. I acknowledge all of these privileges. Just in case it seems like I was able to save up pretty quickly, it's because I've had savings from before, and I just channeled most of my savings that I had before to other savings goals that would help me prepare for this new phase. And to be honest, I worked multiple jobs at different points in time to maximize my income potential, and this also helped me very, very significantly. So if you're looking to quit your job out there, what advice do I have for you? Quitting your job is very, very hard. It's a lot more mental question that you keep asking yourself than actually quitting. What are the steps you need to take before you actually decide to submit your resignation letter? 1, try as much as you can to ask yourself why. Why do you want to quit? Are you just burned out? Do you need a break, or do you have other things that you want to spend your time doing? If the case is that you just need a break, I would suggest taking or using your vacation days. So you can decide to take like extended vacation, for example, like 2 weeks at a stretch or 1 week at a stretch, and get as much rest as possible during that period. If you have other things that you want to work on, I would also suggest taking like an extended weekend. So for example, you can take Fridays or Mondays off, so that way you can have 3 days of weekend and you can work on your other goals or priorities. Next would be to take unpaid time off. This is also something I did during the time. I took off a 1 week unpaid period just to work on some of the goals that I had, and it helped me significantly buy myself extra time of almost 3 months, which I was able to make extra income to meet up for the savings target that I had. Another option for you to consider is to ask to go part-time. I know some companies would accept for you to become a part-time worker or an employee with their company instead of you just totally quitting. So speak to your HR, speak to your employer, and see if part-time option is on the table, if it's possible for them to allow you to work lesser hours or work flexible hours. You'll be surprised that some company policy could actually allow you switch to part-time hours. To be honest, you might still end up doing the exact same amount of work that you do as full-time, but at least you know you are buying back your time. Next option would be for you to take a study leave or sabbatical. So some companies would allow you to take 1 year or 2 years of work without actually quitting. So if this is an option for you, I would suggest you actually go for that, because then you are not actually quitting the job, and if you decide to go back to the company, you still have your job and your offer on the table, which obviously I don't think I've ever seen anyone that took a sabbatical and went back to the same job. But if that's an option for you, honestly, just explore it and take that option. Another advice would be to build other income streams. While you are considering quitting your job and you're working on all of these other options or alternatives, I would say you should start to build your other income stream. If it's for you to start building your active income streams, passive income stream, extra gigs, or starting up your own business, do that. Try to find that extra source of income that you can rely on when you finally decide to quit. Lastly, I'll just say plan and save, because money is usually the biggest worry. If you have saved up for whatever need that could possibly arise, then I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't be scared to quit your job. But if you don't have the financial capability, you don't have the savings, and you've not planned properly, you definitely will be worried about quitting. So that's actually the most important tip for you from all of this. Plan and save towards it. Then whenever you feel like you are ready, then you can go ahead. To be honest, you will never feel like you are ready. That's just the truth. Even on the day that you have decided that you want to quit, you will still ask yourself, am I ready for this? But if you feel like you have planned and you have saved for it, then I wish you the very best in your decision. Anyway, that's how I prepared financially to quit my job, and those are some of the tips that I have used to help me prepare and plan before actually submitting my resignation letter. I wish you the very best and I hope you find them useful. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you find this video useful, give it a thumbs up and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.